So, Tobias, your turn.
So yeah, I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast regular Hunter's Mark on that guy also.
And that was the
Oh my
this one
God.
right there, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to shoot him with a crossbow. Great.
The BFC.
He is hit.
Now the question is, does he get impaled to the floor?
I think that's 18 damage.
He is dead.
So,
Cool.
this is like out of nowhere. They hear
It's literally
then-
like, yeah, hop up, shoot, guy flies, like, back into that table. Like, oh, like, knocks everything over.
Yeah, and then I just look at the next guy and just like start winding up the next bull.
Alright. Next up is an unconscious dude. Eric.
So I get
The
advantage
guy-
on this dude next to me.
Yes, the guy who failed his jump and is now prone beside you, yes.
Yeah. So he just fell down, and I'm just gonna go look down at him and
Yep, both hit.
wow.
He's not dead.
Oh wow.
He probably wishes he is.
Yeah. Then in that case, I want to go. This guy has a heavy crossbow, right?
Yes.
Does he have anything else?
Oh, assumedly. Yeah, you can
Okay,
see the
well.
weapons kind of hanging off them. Swords, daggers, those sorts of things.
You know what? He's already scared of me. I'm gonna jump up and run straight at him, and then just stop right here.
Acrobatics roll. You don't have step for the
Oh,
wind. You
one
can get away with
advantage,
stuff for free with step
I-
for the wind.
Oh,
Okay,
there we go.
20 is absolutely fine, yeah. Okay. Baruch.
Just let's stop right in front of him.
So I'm gonna go over here and sit down on this boy and have my shield in front of me and literally just sit on him. That's my turn.
He's restrained. Restrained by butt.
So, Eleanor. Your turn.
Ollie seems less than amused.
That is a hit.
Excellent. And you know what? I'm also gonna smite this one.
Oh my god.
We're just gonna cleave through.
You know what? That dude that like fell down, he's the one who's gonna live.
She's
Yeah.
done. Yeah. Eleanor's
Yeah.
done. This is the second person who ran into that place and just got smashed. Done.
20, 25, 30. And I'm just gonna kind of like point with my bloody greatsword after just spraying viscera everywhere from that one shot. Which one of you fucks said you were in charge, and which one of you is surrendering right now? The two of us.
Intimidate. Intimidate.
I like
I'll give
it.
you advantage.
You want me to roll into it? Okay.
Yeah. Advantage.
Oh my god.
Slightly better every time. It is slightly better every time by like 2.
These two who are up there, they actually are intimidated by this to a degree, and they kind of look back and forth, and actually this guy will kind of throw the crossbow at you, Virik, and Virik's not strong. That actually is like, ugh. So he disengages,
Yeah.
and then freaking legs it.
Good. Good. I want. Hey, sweet.
And they will, Okay, and this guy who like slowly gets up, horribly bleeding, clutching his
I mean-
wounds, starts stumbling around, knocking over chairs and tables.
Oh no. Poor guy.
Tobias. So Tobias, the only one you can still see when you like pop back up from your chest high cover, is the guy who's like clutching his wounds and dragging himself around. The rest of them have moved.
I mean,
Oh my god, that poor guy.
I think no matter what, he's dead.
It's a good thing Virik only cares about his honor and not his teammates' honor.
Guy probably.
If anything, it would be more dishonorable to let him die outside of battle.
Yeah.
That's what you'll
It's
say.
the northern way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Also,
sense.
they could have surrendered, like they're fleeing.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, if I respect them for
Yeah.
not surrendering. So on the one hand, I'm like, like you guys didn't surrender. You fought to the end. Like, I would feel like I owe you this. Like,
Yeah.
It would be a betrayal of your courage if I showed you mercy.
It really does say something about the northern mindset that we like spared the other one to hold like a public trial, like situation. Like it's like it's more dishonor than just like murder them outright.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay, I'm gonna leave those ones to run, and I'm actually gonna start moving back over to open that desk drawer where the guy had all the money.
Okay, yeah. So you're not fighting anymore. Are you
No,
guys
no,
chasing down the people running?
I want to move back this way. I'm not. If other people are, they can.
I'm currently sitting down on the bad
This
guy.
is an open out of combat question.
No, we'll let them go.
Okay,
I think.
cool. In which case, combat over.
Mhm.
They're fleeing. They're getting out of here.
We can give their names and faces, and perhaps even make like an illusionary description of them.
Yes,
You give to the people we're putting in charge.
and
can
especially
definitely
with Northmen, if you guys can remember their tattoos on their faces, stuff like that,
Mhm.
you can do that kind of thing. So, with that, with them running, and a couple of moments of silence to check that they're not coming back, and they didn't just flee like ah! They actually ran in a kind of careful way, because you can see through the windows where they like kind of set up a position. If you were going to chase them, they would shoot at you, and then they managed to get out and back into the streets. At that point, you can kind of check over the place. There were a couple of people who were like hiding under tables. Or more often than not, in like the corner or in like the kitchen, there was a commoner with a weapon protecting people who couldn't fight, like the older people or something. Yeah, fight over. In which case, Virik starts looting, which is great.
Very much so.
I'm gonna
Please.
tie this Joker up as well, just while we're working on stuff.
If you need rope, I got rope.
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
go
give
right
it
to
to you.
everyone else's here, like the elderly that you described, and making sure they're okay and like offering healing.
Everyone's fine because Smoke's magic never went that far. Everyone's fine, just a bit shaky.
What about the tiefling woman who's like in the middle of them?
Weirdly enough, she seems fine. Very shocked. She's actually unconscious. She fainted, though. Not unconscious. I am bleeding to death. But she fainted from just all of this.
If that's the case, Virik would have made sure she was alive and then prop her up and make sure she's okay before he started
Sit her
looting.
something comfortable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then he would have started looting because he can't get her up again. He doesn't know medicine.
No. Alright. So, in which case, Virik, you start going through these chambers. I want you to give me an investigation check. Going through the desks, the tables and things. The table is like burnt and smashed and stuff, but the things in there are still there.
Oh, he was so close to get. That keeps happening, and I hate it.
Despite
all my rolls.
you seeing him go there before, there's obviously a drawer, and in there you find 2 pots of ink, which actually Barut has told you is pretty expensive. One black and one dark red. A few leaves of paper and things like that ready for painting, and there is a loose gold in there of around 160. You figured there would be more, but you find no sign of it.
Okay. So it was the black ink, red ink, the loose gold, and I think there was one other thing that I missed.
Just papers.
Sheets of paper.
Sheets of paper.
Papers. Okay, cool.
Which is basically me saying Barut restocks his books and stuff. Yeah. you gotta give the nerd character paper and ink sometimes.
I
Also,
appreciate
ink's
it.
valuable for spells.
Yeah.
Ink is actually.
And
very
I
useful.
would also be checking each of the guys we downed, and maybe even the guy we restrained.
If you would you want to empty all their pockets?
Yes.
Probably, yeah. I might even, like, as I do it, move them over to, like, ready to, organize some sort of, like, getting these bodies out of here.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. As
Move them
you're
over,
getting
check
them,
the
you
pockets,
got stuff
next. Move it over, check the pockets, next.
there. See, that's actually where you find some real money. Because there were a lot of them. You killed probably around 10 people. And they had a lot of money on them. Because Smoke paid handsomely. They had 500 gold on them altogether when you actually count it up and check the
real
currencies and
That's
things like that.
enough that Verik's not going to just pocket that. He's going to give it to Brute to put in the party thing to split out later. Because
I think
He's
Tobias
not
has
a
the party pool going right now.
yeah, he's not a complete rogue.
You have the 2,000 for the party pool as well, correct?
I sure do.
Good.
Oh, okay, you've got the party ball. Okay.
You want me to
So-
add anything else to it right now?
Extra 500 that you just found.
It was a 500? Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to other stuff on them, actually going through their pockets and things, you do find a potion of healing on one of them. He never lived long enough to use it. But other than that, nothing incredibly interesting. Sort of things that would be fine equipment if you didn't already have better, right?
I'm going to take the heavy crossbow that he threw at me and, like, just keep it just in case. Grab a couple of the bolts just in case I ever need it.
What's your strength?
Oh, I probably can't use it, can I?
It's not
my
use it,
strength is
you
11.
Carrying it around with all your stuff is more, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I can carry it if need be, though.
Oh, then
Yeah,
if
could
it's that
sort
sort of thing, I can leave it. It's fine.
You definitely don't have proficiency with it and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was more just like in case I need something that pierces at long range, sort of thing.
Well, you have a heavy crossbow.
Yeah, we
Just
have
get him to do it.
Yeah. Get the one who can do it to do it, and then
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
In that case, I don't think there's anything else that they have that I just saw that I was interested in.
I'm going to... Eleanor, are you near this Joker that we have tied up, Mr. Smoke?
I would be speaking with the people here, informing them that we can't let them leave yet because we have to inform word of that we have him in custody and we can't have that getting out quite yet to the public, and being very nice and kind of chatting with them, but like, no, you're here for a little bit. Is there anything I can do to make you more comfortable?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Luckily,
Tobias...
it's a tavern. There's
Yeah.
ale.
Yeah. Tobias, where are you at? Because I know Virik's walking around here, but...
Yeah, I'm pretty much just walking around, like, checking bodies, making sure none of these guys are actually, like, about to pull a knife and try something.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a couple of them are, like, super dead. Like, the ones that Eleanor smited, I have no qualms about. But, like, the other guys,
Yeah.
just playing it safe.
So, basically, what I'm asking is, am I alone with him right now?
Yeah. Aside from a unconscious tiefling. But there's also an
Okay.
unconscious gnome.
Okay. I'm considering doing something that might be considered not good.
Do it.
Because he's a magic user, and he's dangerous.
Oh no! Oh,
I'm gonna cut off his hands.
That's like a process that takes a while, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an easy thing to do.
I'm gonna cut off his hands, and if he doesn't bleed out from that, which I'm gonna heal him.
Are you going to
okay.
heal him magically or just do a medicine?
I'll heal him magically. Let's
I
be
need you to
reasonable.
give me a medicine to amputate his hands.
Sure.
oh my god!
And this isn't whether you can do it or not.
It's
You
how clean
can
it is.
do it. It's how clean. It's how fast. It's whether you have to take several hacks. In which case, Eleanor hears. One of the things where you actually do hear this happening, but it's one of the things you. By the time you get up there, without probably not much urgency, because you don't imagine he's killing him or anything. He's already got the hands removed and is like healing. And it's one of those things where it's not
Healing
like you
the stumps.
seal up the
I do have a
wounds,
question.
but
What did you use to remove the hands?
probably just his sword, right?
Like a short sword?
No, I also have a dagger that I would have been using for this to do it with more precision to get under the wrist bones a little bit better.
Oh,
I will just
I mean,
inform you.
did read that book.
A great sword or an axe would have been better. I can provide you with one next time.
I will keep that in mind.
You read
Um,
the book about cannibalism.
I know how to
Oh,
carve
you
apart
did.
humans.
Oh.
This is part of like I did it with finesse. Not amazing. This is my first time doing it, but
At this point, like down on the lower floor, while Tobias is kind of like checking things and he hears the commotion upstairs, he just like leans back to like look towards the upper floor. And I'm like, Bruit, stop messing around up there and give us a hand.
I'm gonna chuck one of the hands down.
No!
No,
No!
I'm not actually. I'm
No.
sorry. That was a terrible joke.
No!
Terrible joke. I'm not doing it.
Ollie, would it
Yes?
be possible to provide him with healing but not wake him up? To like just make sure he doesn't like die.
That's
I
kind of
am-
what Barut was doing,
I'm
and
doing that with.
I
the
kind of
food.
assumed that's kind of so. Yes, in this situation, yeah. You
Okay.
have some of the things where this kind of wound, even the healing is not a guarantee. He might bleed out, but so whatever you want to do with him, you probably want to do within a couple
Yeah.
hours.
I'll give him a few points of laid hands, like 5. We'll say.
Good, because I was also probably going to cut his tongue out.
I'll just keep healing him, and you can just keep.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna cut his tongue out, Ollie.
And I'll just
imagine-
give him a point of healing every like little bit.
It's with the dagger as well. I'm not doing this with my longsword, despite.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want me to make another
No.
medicine check?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I love how Virik said he was going to loot the bodies and come up and loot this. He's just going to walk up.
You know the
see
funny
this
thing
happening.
is, Barut, is that often in elven cultures, this is how you try criminals by
I will
removing the
inform
dangerous
you.
body parts. So
Yeah.
We will not be able to give him last words.
Well, he had his last words. It was kill them.
It's true.
it's
And,
actually
like,
it's actually kind of while you're doing this that the tiefling servant is kind of coming
Oh
to.
no!
She wouldn't be next to him anymore. We would have moved her elsewhere.
we would have moved her elsewhere for
like
this.
outside the
Just
chamber.
outside
Okay.
of the chamber,
with
yeah.
like the elderly people and everybody else.
Round the
Okay.
corner.
I
Okay,
wouldn't have moved her that far.
Good.
But yeah, if you're moving her that
Yeah.
far, that's fair.
Out of the way. So she'll probably actually, in that case, come to like Virik, who is dressed like a tiefling.
Oh, this is going to go well.
She doesn't say anything, but she is very visibly panicked. And it's one of those things where you haven't like re-put the curtain over the area you're in, so people can see in, whether they can see the exactness of what you're doing. The fact that Smoke is dead is very much obvious, and she seems to be going into some sort of like panic attack.
Well,
in
he's
that-
not dead yet.
They think he's dead.
we
Yeah,
didn't
I
say.
did shout that. I did
Yeah.
shout that. Yeah. Yeah.
If I say I'm going to go over and just like try and okay, it's going to try and pull her aside to sort of talk to her a little bit away from the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. We've dealt with Smoke. There's going to be a public execution later. To try and say that under so everyone else thinks he's still dead.
Execution.
Yeah. Okay.
Execution. Zoom
now,
tight.
what I do need to say is I'm not one of you. I'm not a tiefling. I'm looking at one to try and get the tieflings let back into the city, to let people know that a tiefling was involved in taking him down. I can also say that you helped us if you want to. If not, that's okay. It's up to you.
This is a lot for her. She really doesn't have much of a response. That's a lot to throw on someone going through a panic attack.
Okay, and then I'm gonna.
If anything,
I'm
it
gonna
probably hinders a little more than it helps. But the fact you
this
kind
is
of took
gonna
her
hinder as
aside.
well.
and-
Varric's gonna pull out 20 gold and put it into her hand and say, "Use this to try and set yourself up with a new life."
It's definitely one of those things you have to like close her hand around.
Yeah, I
it.
will. Yeah, I will do the whole like that.
And she, like, it just looks down at her hand, confused and scared. Big, innocent, terrified eyes.
It's okay. You don't have to serve anyone anymore.
When I'm done being a horrible monster, but ultimately being an elf, you know,
Delivering justice.
yeah, and also, you know, this is what you do. with a dangerous person, you stop them from being dangerous. But when I'm done with that, I'm going to step out over the balcony and just say, Virik, can I speak with you quickly?
Sure. Here, and I'm actually going to hand her one of my bottles of wine.
She like the gold, which is also just in her hand, is just kind of like holding it.
Yeah.
Like not as as just like as if it's like just a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just
I'm going to be right back, okay? And then I'm going to go up to...
We should have her speak with Cherubin.
That is not a bad idea.
Before we leave, we have a little bit of time. We could maybe settle a little bit before. I mean, there's some horrible noise out there. We probably don't want to leave yet. No, we probably want to see what Cherubin can do to help calm her, put her in perhaps a better path. It's often faith that can bring someone through a circumstance like this. It might not be a bad plan to set her on that path as well.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
You probably see my hands are like pretty bloody right now. I don't know if you'd know if that was from the combat or whatnot at this point, but like,
Virik might just do a little...
yeah.
Okay.
At this point, Tobias is just gonna come up the stairs, like done looking around, and walk in just to like this scene of this man's tongue and hands.
Oh, they're on the table.
I was gonna say on the table.
They're on the plate that he had for his meal with the spider head right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely just gonna come up and just look and be like, oh fuck the gods, just kill him. What are you doing?
We need to act quickly, and yes, we should kill him.
Publicly.
Who wants to run forward to grab the blacksmith and let
Virik.
him
I can do it very
They
quickly.
should have things prepared.
You know what? I have spare
Just
key
because
points.
I don't want to let all these people go. Have them go say we have him in custody and have
Of course.
his followers rescue him.
Of course.
You know
We
what?
should act quickly now.
Okay. I'm just gonna say I'll go get them right now then, and then just immediately
You just dash out the room. Like
Is
the
our
Flash, just things fly around, gone.
It's 150 feet per round if I dash, bonus action, and
Yeah.
dash, and that.
Jesus. Okay. We have a head bag, right?
Yeah. Will the gnome
He's
fit
a
in the
gnome.
head bag?
I don't
Maybe.
think the gnome will fit in the head bag, but I mean, we could cover him probably pretty easily. Hide his
his
identity a little
His
bit.
first half of a little bit. I don't want his like stubby arm showing. So we drag him out.
Oh, we can tie those up near his face. That's fine. Look,
I don't want this to look as bad as it is.
Just tie them behind his back. I
It's
think.
pretty
is what
bad.
look. There's not much actually to tie with when you're there. You have to tie it at the elbows once the hands are gone.
He's
'Cause you don't
thinking
actually have
about
that
it.
latching
He's
point.
thought about it too much.
You gotta tie at the elbows.
So you tie him up.
Fine.
You basically pick him up because he's
Be like
a
this.
gnome. He's actually heavier than you thought he would be, but Eleanor can easily carry pretty much any member of the party anyway. And take them pretty much because you're on the top of the hill. I imagine just to like a public space out here, like a plinth to the gods. And Virik takes longer getting back with the head of Clan Grogger and a couple of his people and a little bit of a crowd that's gathered because clearly some kind of commotion went on. There's a couple of people. I was gonna say Northmen don't really gossip. They gossip in a little bit of a different way. They're not gossiping now. There'll be a lot of gossip later. They're kind of like quietly standing and wondering what's going on as I imagine you prepare to execute him in front of them. Is there anything
On the way
you-
back, I would very deliberately not have my hood or mask on to make
Yes!
it known that a tiefling is leading them to the.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I get you. Is there anything any of you are going to say before you off this guy?
No, I will just kind of like list off his crimes as we know him, that he abused those beneath him and murdered innocents, and the people are exacting vengeance.
And then,
Yep.
yep.
I will like heal him first, so he's conscious with my 10 lay on hands.
He's
with my
awake.
left. Yeah,
Oh, so he's awake. Yeah.
yeah.
He's
I'm not gonna kill an unconscious guy.
that. Okay, yeah, that was totally valid.
He also can't speak, so it's
can't
fine.
speak, you can't really do anything. You chop his head off, it rolls down a little bit of the cobblestone and into the snow and such. And there's not so much a cheer or anything. It's not like you just defeated a villain and all the people are like, yeah, go. There's just a kind of unsettled stillness in the air of the people watching. Like, they're gonna talk a lot later.
I will put like my hand, like as I turn away from doing this, onto the leader of the blacksmith clan's like shoulder, and just inform him that he should say a few words now.
He does. I'm not gonna go ahead and roleplay all of them, but he pretty much does say that this is the first grand step in a new, more peaceful age for this town. That war is behind us, and that this monster is behind us. And doesn't go to like thank you or anything like that, because that's not what this is about. And you can head back to the tavern, not actually all that injured due to Barut's prayer of healing.
Barut's probably looking the worst for wear out of everybody, honestly.
I would have found the monk and brought her with us.
Yeah. Because we're going to introduce her to Cherubin and hopefully give her an option that might put her on a path that will help with her anxiety, if nothing else.
It's one of those things where when you come back, Cherubin knew what you were doing to a degree. And you describe this to her as like, we want you to talk to her. For a while, these two talk in the Vars, in the native language, as quicker than Barut can really handle. But the
Keep
fact
up
that
with some of it, but not all of it.
The fact that they're talking, and it's also clearly not a public conversation as well. So
I wouldn't have listened in anyways. Is kind of the thing. Barut's off, probably reading his own books at this point.
Yeah. And you can rest. Is there anything else that you guys want to do during this rest?
I would take my wine bottle back. Did she drink any of it?
No. She's also still holding the gold. And about when they're talking, she just kind of puts it down on the table in front of her.
Okay. I assume Cherubin's gonna make sure that she takes that for her own, hopefully.
We'll see.
I will take advantage of my time here to spend some time with the children. Just doing fun stuff with them, like downtime stuff, reading them books and like playing with them and whatnot.
Yeah, especially because
I don't get to very often.
you wash up, and then you go to the orphanage. But that's like completely fine, and honestly, it's one of those things like, what did you do? You're like,
I do invite the others to come visit the children if they so want to.
Would you? This is still in the evening, by the way. No, I mean,
I don't know how much they know about the orphanage. I don't know how much they learned about it.
They just know that you essentially own this place.
Barut definitely would come after he cleaned up, very much so. After he cleaned up and rested and everything.
I would explain a bit about them and where they came from. That many of their parents were friends of mine, or people I knew during the war, who have since passed, and now they're here.
That's interesting. Where I come from, it is very much a community living situation. If your parents die, which happens far more often than we'd like to admit, you are taken in by the community, and it's an honorable thing.
Rick would be coming as well, because I'm gonna do jester stuff for them, perform for them, hopefully.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
they love that, because that kind of, kind of Tobias notwithstanding, even though it's a different kind of thing, that kind of athleticism, acrobatic kind of stuff is not that common out here. Actually doing jestery, entertaining stuff blows their minds, especially
and they will use
magic. Yeah, there's definitely magic involved.
The wall, arms just fall off, and I chase my arms around the floor, stuff like that.
That's messed up, but they're workings.
Yeah, kids would love it.
Kids, no, exactly. I hate it. Kids are stupid. But you very much can spend the evening kind of relaxing at the orphanage, as relaxed as you can get at a place filled with children. But it is after a lot of battling and planning and strife. Like, actually kind of, it's exactly what you needed. The next morning...
Can I note that I'm going to leave my tiefling makeup on for that with the gesturing
I
to the kids
assumed
and-
you were going to, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause just can't be bothered to take it off.
Well, that, and also because I kind of like the idea of the kids having good thoughts towards tieflings.
Yeah. The next morning, when you've just sort of, done... Again, Barut is the only one who actually has, like, wounds from that fight, because magical healing. And you go down. I imagine, as usual, it's Barut who's the first person to kind of go down to the bottom floor of the abandoned tavern to talk to Cherubin. Monk is still there. And she'll say, she's going to be coming with us.
Excellent. I'm
is-
glad to hear that.
I think the best place for her is back home.
And I think after everything she's experienced, that is a little bit of home would do her well. And I'll turn to Monk and bow deeply and say, I apologize for displacing you so much with your situation here, but I really do hope that you find a new start and a better start back home.
She bows back, which isn't exactly how that would normally go.
No,
and she
but-
just kind of sort of thinks for a bit, clearly overthinks things, and says a phrase that roughly means thank you in Elvish. Pretty well, actually.
Okay. And then in Elvish, I'll respond and say, it is the least I can do, but also it is the beginning of your path and your journey. You need not thank anyone else from here on. It is only you and your choices.
And the guidance of those above.
And Brute will nod to that, of course.
I'll roll my eyes and take a drink of whatever I'm drinking.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
It's too early for this. It's too
You're probably
early
still
for this.
lying down, just like...
As if it wasn't like the spirits that saved her in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Brute's fairly happy with how things have turned out, given that he very much purposefully added her into his prayer for heals, that she did receive the healing. So as far as he's concerned, she is blessed by the gods at this point, and she should find that path. So
Yeah. Exactly. And you have two clerics who are all about finding the path, right?
yeah.
So, you were saying before that you'd probably spend a couple of days here to just kind of like really rest
Chill.
before a proper journey.
Yeah.
Pretty much those days will happen. The same sort of things happen. You spend a little more time at the orphanage. You prepare. You make sure that all your new weapons are ready, that you train with them, that your armors are ready, that your winter gear is appropriate, that the tieflings have winter gear, even though they kind of don't need it. They still need it to a degree. Monk isn't very talkative, although there is definitely, and I imagine this happens to Virik at one point when he tries to talk to her by name. She says, "My name is Kavara. He named me Monk. My mother named me Kavara."
Okay. Well, thank you for telling that, Kavara. Did you know, I used to be a slave as well.
I was never a slave.
Well, servant. It was neither as pleasant.
She nods, and then if you keep talking to her, she doesn't really respond.
Right.
It's definitely one of those people. It takes a lot of energy for her to talk to her for herself. Yeah. Is there anything you guys would have wanted to do in like the 2 or 3 days you'd spend before you head off?
Do things look like they're okay here? That they're stable?
Yeah, it's not that not a lot has changed. It's that the things that have changed can be easily sort of handled. You know, yeah, it seems stable. There's no trouble to really report, which is good.
I would actually spend a bit of time speaking with Kavara just asking her about herself a little bit here and there, trying to get a little bit out, but then more also asking her if she likes stories, if she likes knowing about things.
It'd be one of those things you find out. She doesn't talk much. One thing she'll definitely say is that she remembers home, she remembers her mother, but not much of it. She's like probably around like 16, 18. It can sometimes be hard to tell with tieflings, with most magical races, right? And when you say about stories, she'll kind of like sheepishly nod. But then when you start telling any kind of story, she is clearly very invested.
So the thing is, I'd be telling her stories about Zalstella as well. So my home and my travels from Zalstella through, and the journey on the ship, and I'd be telling it exactly as it happened. It would be just this, it relatively uneventful at times, but at times there were things going on, and so many interesting people, all that fun stuff. And I'd tell her about the journey across into the Elven lands from Northendon and through the Crimson Mountain, and essentially just telling her about my journeys and about travel and about everything like that.
It would actually be like a day after you tell her the start of your story about Zalstella, about the mountains, about going to Palmoro, which is the only place where ships come and go, and heading out. And she'll actually say that some months ago there was a man who came to speak to Smoke from Palmoro. He said he was, anyway. He said it wasn't important, but Smoke insisted. He likes to know where people are from. He liked... And then, that's when she stops again until prompted.
I would ask, do you remember his name?
She thinks, and shakes her head. Says, my memory is foggy. There was a man, and there was an elf, and they neither had hair.
Would I know anything about people without hair from Mara?
You can give me a religion check.
All right.
It could be anything, honestly. It could be... Because this religion check is kind of like just a conglomeration of your knowledge, right?
Yeah.
The reason I say it is a lot of religious orders shave their heads. Also could be Goliath. It could be anything. There are Borvar in Palmoro, because Palmoro, Zalstella is for everyone else, is a locked-off continent. It is controlled by a government of halflings who pretty much want nothing else to do with the rest of the world. And there are other races there, such as mountain elves and a group of humans called the Phoenix Bloods, who also want nothing else to do with the rest of the world, really. Palmora is the only place where people come and go, and it's kind of an independent city that has a little bit of everyone. So anyone who would sail could end up there. So pretty much anyone could have been born there, could have been then there, could have been like someone from any faith, could have been someone from any creed. But just someone being from Zalstella on this continent is always interesting to you, because it happens so rarely, because it's a long boat ride and only one place they can really come from.
And it's weird being in the north. Like, I mean, for me, I traveled for a long time to come up to the north, and it wasn't my first choice. It was very interesting to me.
If you met someone from Zalstella in a naval community, that would be one thing. This is a landlocked town in the north, in the middle of... It has weapons.
So I'd ask her next, did the elf look like me? Not with as many scars, probably, but more like me than like other elves that you might have seen. I know you might not have that much experience with us, but...
All elves look the same.
Can I try and make a minor illusion of Brute without scars next to him? Like that.
I mean, put my ear back,
Yeah, he's missing it. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Oh, that's... Look at that.
I'm an
look at
ugly
that handsome
man.
boy. Scars add character. Yes, and actually when you do that, she does shake her head and says, no, she was a woman. But skin similar.
Okay.
Similar, but not the same.
I would not be one to know.
Fair enough. What was their business? If you don't mind me asking, of course. I understand it's a lot of information. But...
She clearly kind of thinks for a bit of time, which of course the two people here are elves who do not really care. Even though Virik doesn't really live in an elvish way, it's one's like,
I just be
starts
drinking
humming
wine.
a song in his head, you know. And then she thinks they were looking for something.
As vague as it is intriguing.
I'm sorry, I cannot remember more.
No, that's not your fault at all. And it's as interesting as it is to me to hear of someone from my homeland. It's probably not important to the task at hand, but something I will stow away for, memory in the future, just in case I hear any more of them. But very interesting. And
What's up?
I want to ask more. Go ahead.
No. I was can I, after this is done, if you're asking more, go ahead. But
I want to ask more, but I don't think she'll have any answers for me anyways. It's like one of those things where it would
You can give me a Arcana check, Mr. Barut. And Virik, actually.
Oh,
Virik
okay.
has this with advantage.
Oh.
That kind of struggled memory loss, Virik, you kind of remember it. Sometimes people try to magically remove memories, or even just suppress, not remove. Then if it was a weaker, more casual spell, some drown matriarchs, literally if they're going somewhere they shouldn't, just people around them will just forget they're there, and it's almost like a casual, an ambient spell effect. And then it takes just a bit of willpower to remember it, but why would you do so? It needs prompting, So it's kind of that sort of low-level memory manipulation, which is powerful magic, but not literally wrenching into your head and making sure you can't remember something,
Yeah. So I'll be watching the conversation. I'm going to start to notice that the way she's not remembering things, the fact is specifically around that conversation and stuff like that. Brute, I think I know what's going on. The people who are high up, the people who are very powerful, back, not home but back in the place, they would suppress memories. They would make people forget specific things. This feels like that.
Well, that's very interesting.
It can be overcome but it has to be specifically. I remember I had to, another one of the slaves. I had to actually ask him multiple times before it sort of came back to him what happened.
This wouldn't be considered a condition, would it, Ollie?
Not for your kind of spell.
That's what I was figuring.
Bastillion is a city of magic, so it's definitely the kind of thing you imagine you could get fixed in Bastillion if you were so interested.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of you actually know a rumor of places in Bastillion where, for example, people who believe they're born in the wrong body can have magically basically a new body made for them. Stuff like that happens in Bastillion, if you can afford it. So that would be your route, or definitely something else I would allow if you were going to put a lot more downtime into it and be okay, I'll try and create a way to cure this condition, through therapy and magic.
Right.
But considering you're going to be traveling through a very dangerous environment, it's not that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's not the
language.
Okay. Now, a somewhat of a follow-up question, I suppose, to that is, does it appear to be straining her when she is thinking about it? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely.
Then I won't continue.
It's not like a hard, painful memory. It's just like you'd have a headache, you know?
Right. Well, it's not something that I would then push on. But I would turn to Virik and I'd say, well, we're going to a city that is absolutely filled with magic. If anywhere can solve that kind of suppression, I imagine it would be in Bastillion. And I turn to Kavara at this point, and I would say, of course, only if you're wanting that. If you would rather not remember, then I cannot ask you to remember for my sake.
She'll think for a bit, and then she'll look at you, and she'll kind of like slightly nervously play with like the strands of her long hair, and say, "Is it important? You seem very interested."
It's very rare that I hear of anybody coming from my homeland, and even stranger here in a landlocked area. They have to come by sea. They deliberately traveled here. I'm here for a purpose, and that is what brought me here. And so I imagine they had a purpose as well, which is what brought them here. That purpose may not be relevant or important at all, but because of the rarity and because, and this may just be my own memory failing me, but I can't quite place why a human and an elf with shaved heads would be traveling together. It's piqued my curiosity enough to know that I should be interested, but even just from a historical standpoint, that's largely my aim in life, my goal, my path. To write the histories, to tell the stories of people who otherwise wouldn't be heard. And actually, while we're traveling, with your permission, I would like to write about you as well.
She'll kind of think about it for a bit, and it would be a shrug if it was another person, but she kind of nods a little and just I mean, she obviously has very submissive body language,
Right.
and says, if you think it is important, then I would be willing.
It is always your choice, and I would never ask it of you if it makes you uncomfortable. If it does at all make you uncomfortable to speak about yourself to me, then I will not ask at all. It is not my place to ask that. It is your choice and it is your life, and if you wish to have it told, then I would be happy to tell it. It would be my honor, but it would be an honor of mine. It is not something I am requesting of you.
She has nothing else to say.
In that case, I'm actually going to turn to Bert and say, I'm going to go try something so that maybe she doesn't even have to like have that choice. I'm going to go see if I can't check his records if there's any left. So,
I'm gonna come with you because that seems risque. So,
well, like, because the other guys would have taken over his stuff, right? For the most part.
Well, maybe, right?
Oh, okay. So we gotta see if the smoke place is somewhere where we gotta.
Well, it's one of those things where the clan Grogu would have no real interest in paperwork, right? Why would they?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it might still be there, or it might have been disposed of. Okay, so I want to go back to that place and see if I can't find any paperwork.
All right. When you get back to the
coming with you,
yes,
just
I
for
assumed
protection.
you two were going together because I'm kind of assuming Tobias and Eleanor are kind of like doing stuff in the town, you know, making sure that the transition's good. This is an elf team little mission.
This is Team Curiosity.
Yeah.
When you get back to the that's a good team name. When you get back to the House of Smoke Glass, it's been about 2 days. Most of the damage being done has been repaired, but it isn't open because Smoke owned the place. Smoke kept things going back and forth. You never were here enough to work out who ran the bar, but clearly they need to figure that out again, because you can't just run it with nothing. So that's kind of their what's going on right now. When you go in, you actually are allowed in. Like, one of the people who's like repairing the place will let you go around. You actually see that some degree of the booth up there has been removed, because that was clearly the most damaged area because the magic and the smashing and all the things. But the table's still there for now. It's been moved. It's kind of been moved like out onto the balcony. But that's where.
Can I also just check what's behind the secret door? Because we never did that. Now I want to know.
When you do, of course you do that, and there's like someone downstairs like fixing one of the chairs, and like, by the spirits, because you like just manage to like a whole like panel of the door, because you found it before. You knew it was there. It goes. It's a little tight wooden stairway that, when you follow it, just leads to the back of the building. Like out, it's just just an entrance, a different entrance exit.
I'm just gonna turn to the guy downstairs. Fire exit. Again.
You know what? Just for that, we're going on break.
That made me so happy.
No.
A joke after my own heart.
No happiness allowed.